Welcome back to Just Scribble. My newest fountain pen from Benu came in from Atlas Stationers, and I wanted to share it with you guys. And I realized that I also hadn't shared with you the one that I got before that. Both of these came from Atlas Stationers. I am an affiliate for Atlas, so there is a link and a code down in the description box. The code doesn't work for everything, but it works for most everything on their website, so you can save a little bit of money if you're going to shop from Atlas. But these are my two newest Benu pens from Atlas Stationers. I also have another Benu pen that I haven't shared with you guys that I bought from Goulet in December, so I will share that with you guys in a future video, but I wanted to focus on my new pens from Atlas in this video. This first one is the Millennium. It is an Atlas exclusive, and I actually bought this pen in the winter, and it came, I think it came in January or February, I can't remember exactly, but I've had this pen for a bit, but I haven't inked it up or used it or shared it with you guys. So I thought I would share that one with you guys while I was sharing the newest Benu pen that I purchased. And this is actually a new style of pen from Benu. This is an Astrogem, and so we're going to check this out as well. But this is a new style of pen for Benu, and I bought that one as well, and this one came this week. So we're going to ink both of these up and do a little writing sample and check them out. You do get your warranty card, and then you get a cartridge with your Benu fountain pens. They also sell rollerball pens, and I think I've shared my rollerball on here with you guys. So they do have rollerball pens as well, which I also like, but fountain pens are my favorite. They're just a joy to write with, and they're so much fun because you can use all the different inks. So both of them came with the warranty and the product information, and then the cartridge, and then inside each of them is a converter. So this pen right here, this is the Millennium. This is an Atlas exclusive, so you could only buy this pen from Atlas. I don't know if they still have any of these on their website, but I will link it down below if they do. I loved this pen the minute that they shared it. I love anything holographic, as you know, and it has these beautiful hollow flecks. And it just reminds me of winter and snow, and I love silver and sparkles. And it has sparkles here in the end cap. It has the beautiful hollow all throughout the lid, and then all throughout the pen, the sparkles and the hollow. And then it has the sparkles up here. It's just so pretty. So this is a Euphoria, which is one of my favorite styles of Benu fountain pens. I just love the size, the weight. I love that it has a pen clip, how it feels in my hand. I love how they write. And this one, and actually the other one, they're both broad nibs. I kind of go back and forth on what size I buy for Benus, but I've kind of been leaning more towards broad nibs. Their nibs are really wet, which I enjoy. But with a broad nib, I know that I can use shimmer inks. I also know that my shading inks will shade more beautifully on journaling pages and planner pages, or even if I'm just using a fountain pen to doodle or to do art. And I also like a broad nib because if I wanted to send them off to be custom ground, there's more nib to work with, and I could get a beautiful custom nib ground like an architect or something like that. So I did buy both of these in a broad. So that is the Millennium, and then this is the new Astrogem. This is a new pen style for them. You'll see it has kind of a squared off cap. So it has these squared off sides on it. And then it has beautiful color there at the end cap, which matches here. And then it has the pen clip. And this one is in Juno. So that's the name of this colorway. They had a lot of really beautiful ones, but I was super drawn to this one because purple is my favorite color. I also really like the magenta color, and I have an ink that I thought would be perfect for this. And every time I saw this particular one, I just knew it was for me. This was the perfect Astrogem for me to buy as my first Astrogem. It has all the beautiful sparkle, and then it has like pearlescent in there where the pink is. It's so pretty. So for a size comparison, the Astrogem capped is shorter, as you can see there, from the Euphoria, and then uncapped, you can see there that it's a tad shorter uncapped, not greatly shorter. And then they're pretty much the same size here, but it's a little bit thicker here in the barrel. So a little bit shorter, not much, but about the same size as far as your grip. It feels very comfortable in my hand, so I think that it's going to be nice to use. I did actually already flush these pens before I started filming. I find it's good practice to always flush your pens, even a brand new pen, just to get any residual particles that may be in the feed, or if the pen was tested before it was sent out, things like that. I find that it prevents hard starts and skips and all of those kinds of things. And so I did already flush them off camera just so that I wouldn't have to wait for them to dry. But all I did was turn the piston that's in this converter. I turned it counterclockwise to put the piston here, and then I set it down in a cup of water and turned it clockwise to suck water into that converter, and then released the water and did that a couple of times and then let them sit to dry. So I am going to turn it counterclockwise to push that piston down here because we are going to fill these with ink. And I did already pick out the inks that I'm going to use. I'm going to fill both of these with Van Diemen inks. This pen, the Juno Astrogem, that one was the one that I already knew from the get what ink I wanted to use in it. I have this Marilyn ink from Van Diemen's, this beautiful shimmer, sort of magenta hot pink color, and I thought it would be absolutely perfect with this pen. So that is the ink that we're going to fill with this one. And then I have this beautiful large bottle of the September 2023 ink from Van Diemen's, which is this beautiful blue, kind of stormy slate blue color. And I thought that would be just gorgeous with this pen. I have a lot of blue and gray inks that would look really pretty with this, and even some brighter blues that would really play off of that beautiful hollow, but I was really feeling this sort of moody blue. So that's what we're going to use for the Millennium pen. So we're going to ink these up real quick. Someone mentioned on one of my videos, I think it was an older video, but they mentioned this past week that you should agitate your inks, even if they're not a shimmer ink, before you fill them, just to kind of mix the ink in case any of the ink has settled or separated. And I always agitate my inks, you know, kind of roll them back and forth before I ink up my pens. I just don't always show that on camera. A lot of times when I grab my ink off my shelf, I do it when I pull the ink out to start my video. And so I often do it not on camera. I do often show it with a shimmer ink though, because I want to show you guys how that shimmer kind of disperses, and also to advise not to shake your ink bottle because you'll get lots of bubbles and then those bubbles can load up into your pen. So I generally just kind of roll my inks like this, and then sometimes turn the bottle upside down and slowly roll it like that to make sure that the ink is fully mixed and distributed. Always with a shimmer ink, because the shimmer will sit at the bottom and kind of settle when it's been sitting. But I do it with all of my inks. I just don't always show it. So I will try to make note to show that in all of my videos in the future. But I did want to mention that I do that as a regular practice, and you do want to do that as well. But you can see here in this Maryland, you can see how, look at all that shimmer, how that shimmer has settled. And if you shake this, you're going to get a ton of bubbles inside your ink. But if you just kind of slowly rock it back and forth, and then I turn it upside down and kind of rock it back and forth, you'll be able to distribute that shimmer without creating a whole lot of air bubbles that get into your pen. So I just lightly swirl it around. So that way I can get that shimmer to distribute through the ink, but without getting lots of teeny tiny air bubbles. You'll always have some air bubbles, but you don't want lots of teeny tiny ones that get into your pen. So these are the two inks that we're going to use. We're going to fill up the Millennium first, since I already took it apart. You can do it a couple of ways. You can have your converter attached to the nib and then dip your nib down in your ink and fill it that way, or you can separate the two, fill directly into the converter and then reattach it. If you do the second way, you have to wait a little bit for the ink to travel down the feed. If you do it with the nib on there, the ink's pulled through the feed, so you don't have to wait as long to use your pen. It's really a personal preference, I find. It kind of depends for me if I'm using bottled ink or if I'm using a sample, and what pen I'm using, whether I like to fill it nib in or converter in. But this time we're just doing nib in, and you'll see you do get ink all over your nib that way, which is not a big deal. You just wipe that off. Carefully wipe off any excess on your nib and wipe the ink that may have gotten on the actual pen. And then you just put your pen, oh, I should have showed you. So there you have the ink inside that converter. And then you put the pen body back on and you cap it and you're good to go. So I'm going to set that one there while we fill this one, and we're just going to do the same thing. I'm going to show you what happens if you shake your ink bottle. See those teeny tiny little air bubbles that get in there? That's why you don't want to actually shake the bottle. You want to instead just kind of gently roll it. I'll deal with any sort of effects that I have because I did that, but I wanted to show you what the difference looks like so you can see like all the teeny tiny air bubbles. Both ways perfectly distribute the shimmer. It's just that this way you get those little air bubbles. And they will settle if you let it sit for just a minute, but if you let it sit too long, then all the shimmer sinks again and you have to do it all over again. So I find it's just easier to be gentle with it from the very beginning. Now we have beautiful ink in there. I'm going to wipe off my pen. This is my fountain pen rag. It's a shirt from when my kiddo was a toddler. I use it pretty much every time I fill fountain pens or use a dip pen. I just love it. I think it's turned out so cute with all the colors on it, and it's just a fun memory because he used to be tiny. Now he's getting older. He's not so little, but I think it looks super cute. His little t-shirt with all the colors on it. There was someone in, I think it was in the Fountain Pen Network group. He did it with boxer shorts, like a pair of white boxer shorts, and they were so cool looking with all the color of ink on it. But you can use a paper towel, you can use whatever you want. I just find it's nice to have something that's dedicated to that purpose, and it kind of looks fun at the same time. What do I do with my notebook? All right, so this is a Cosmo Airlight notebook. I really love using this for writing samples and swatches. It's spiral bound. I got it from Dromgools. And we're going to use this to do our little writing sample with these two pens when I do the Benu video for the pen that I got from Goulet, and that video will come soon. I will use this same page so you can see all three of them kind of next to each other. So this is the Benu Euphoria Millennium, which is an atlas. You know what helps is if you write or spell correctly, which is an atlas exclusive, and it's abroad. And this is Van Diemen's September ink. I liked this ink because it's not a complete match, but I think it looks good with the pen. I do have a lot of inks that actually match perfectly with different colors, and once I use up this ink, I may switch into one of these brighter blues, maybe for summer, but I really wanted to use this September ink in it, and I thought it was just a fun kind of pairing with this pen. So that is that one. And then this, I'm super excited for these new pens. This is a Benu Astrogem, and this is Juno, also the broad. They're so smooth and so wet and juicy. They're just fun pens. Like, they look fun and they're fun to write with. And this is Marilyn. I mean, that is the perfect ink for this pen. It is a perfect color match. It has the shimmer in it. I'm not sure if the camera is picking up the shimmer in that ink, but I can see it in person. And it's so pretty, and it's such a good match. Oh, I'm really excited for that. That is my quick little unboxing, filling, swatching. I wanted to share my new pens with you guys. I didn't know if you guys had seen these new pens. I think they're a really unique shape, and it's a really good size, and it will post. So it looks like that. Posted. It has kind of a squared off end there. that fits in there nicely so you can post your pen. And then the Euphoria, which is just a great Benu style. This will post also. I don't like this pen posted. It's really long posted. This one is more comfortable to me posted, but I don't post my pens generally. I usually just hold my cap in my hand if I'm doing a short writing session, or I just set it on my table if I'm doing a longer writing session. But this pen is really comfortable, not posted. This one seems comfortable both ways. Like, I haven't written with it posted. It is comfortable in my hand posted, but I probably wouldn't post it. I probably would write with it like this. But if your hands are bigger, you may want to post it to get that extra length on there. I do actually have larger hands for a girl, but it's comfortable for me both ways. But if you have smaller hands, use it unposted. If you have larger hands, you could use it posted. Either way works. But that's my share of my 2 newest Benu pens from Atlas Stationers. If you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to put them down below and I will definitely get back with you. Give me a thumbs up if you liked this share of my new Benu fountain pens. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss future videos, and don't forget to just scribble.